Hello, everyone. They're slowly turning my microphone volume up, so you'll be able to hear me in a minute. Good evening. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you all just want to make yourselves comfortable and find a seat, there should be enough for you, but you might have to squeeze into some of the middle of the rows or budge up and make some new friends. Fabulous. Welcome to the Wilbur Smith Adventure Writing Prize 2025. Thank you all so much for making the time and the journey to be here today. Today of all days, with the tube strikes going on, we do appreciate you navigating that. I'm Georgina Brown, for those of you who don't know me. I'm the director of the Wilbur and Niso Smith Foundation, and today I will also be your Master of Ceremonies. I just have a couple of housekeeping items to share. There is an emergency exit behind you. To the right, I feel like I'm an air hostess right now. And there's also another door out on your left if you need to make your way back down through the shop via the main stairs. And now, what a year it's been. I have to say welcome to all of the new friends here with us today. And we're looking forward to sharing with you some of the things that all of the amazing people we work with have been up to. And for everyone else, whether you are one of the writers, the judges, the librarians and library staff, the book clubs, the editors, the readers, the content creators, and of course, all of the other incredible volunteers that we work with, thank you. The prize really is people-powered, and you are all an absolutely integral part of that. We are a charity, the Wilbur and Niso Smith Foundation, who award the prize, and we were founded in 2015 by the late adventure writer Wilbur Smith and his wife Niso, who I will be welcoming to the stage in just a few moments to say a few words. Our charitable mission is to empower writers, to promote literacy, and to advance adventure writing as a genre. And we do that across the world. And the next line I'm going to direct right to the camera at the back of the room, where we are live streaming. So a special hello to those who are tuning in from elsewhere, whether that is other parts of the UK, but also further afield, including Japan, India, Malaysia. And I will also say, I'm almost done with the housekeeping, but we have a photographer here with us tonight. But please do take any photographs of your own and feel free to share them on social media. We are on all the usual channels, and you can use the hashtag Adventure Writing Prize. So that's quite enough from me. We have a lot of awards to give and a lot of stories to hear. So first up, I'm going to welcome Niso Smith, our founder and trustee.
Well, I would like to thank you once more for making time to come here. I heard from someone tonight that it was a function somewhere not far away from here yesterday. There were 100 people invited, but only 20 attended. But thank you so much. So, and what I learned was, I learned many things while I was married to Wilbur. But one of the the one thing which I would like to remind tell tonight is so. Every writer, new writer or just the one who's already established writer, they always challenge the similar obstacles. So what's happened, before they start writing, they actually have this very the niggling story in the back of their mind saying that they're self-doubting, like, right, I'm not worthy, I'm not able to write it. And but once they start writing, so that self-doubt turns into the adventure. So, and they are get so empowered by their own, the words just coming without stopping. It gets its own life. So completely separate from the writer's mind in the way. So, Wilbur in every his writing, Wilbur saw the adventure. So he lived with his life was full of adventure. So and he breathed the adventure. So he actually when he was writing in any of his novels, when he knew where the character's taking him, so before actually writing that action into the paper, he had to experience himself. I remember he used to say that if I cannot face the death or danger myself, how I'm going to write about it. So the one which I would like to remind is, I mean, he had thousands of adventure expedition, but the one which comes to my mind tonight is about a very young girl, Santain, from the Burning Shore, when she was washed out into the skeleton coast of Namibia, age of 17, pregnant and half thirsty and hungry, because it was just after during the World War I. And she had to cross on foot, obviously, to cross the Kalahari Desert to go to South Africa to find the family of her unborn child. So, and Wilbur had he organized the expedition, and he crossed the Kalahari Desert himself. So, and his precise instruction to to his team was, under no circumstances, if I'm hungry or if I'm dying, don't touch me, don't help me, unless if I'm really, my heart's going to stop within 2 minutes. Then medical team must come. So he crossed. So this is the kind of person he was, for the sake of adventure, he would risk his life. And so there are a number of hundreds of stories I could come and tell you tonight about. But however, so 10 years ago, so Wilbur and I many of you know the story, we were sitting in the kitchen and he was absolutely agitated that he can't find another book to read because Con Eagleton that particular time, he wasn't writing fast enough. So, so he said, we're going to find our own new writers. So the idea, so this is how the idea of this foundation came 10 years ago. And since then, we have been incredibly blessed that it's stretched across the world. So, and I would like, I just heard also this evening from editor of the Right On Madeleine. She said to me that this foundation establishes adventure writing genre, and you're doing so much. Thank you so much for coming. And tonight we're going to celebrate lots of most interesting stories and interesting writers. Thank you.
And tonight really is about sharing all of these adventures. Now, most people's idea of adventure does mean travel in some way. It means engaging with people and places elsewhere in the world. And for the prize, so much of this actually does happen online. We host mentoring sessions on Zoom. Our authors record podcasts through Riverside. Editorial work takes place through the track changes on a Word document that then flies across continents. And we are actually so proud of the reach that that gives us. To open our eyes to other parts of the world and to other lives, we need to listen to people from those places who are telling those stories, and we need to make space for them. And over the last year, we've worked with writers living in the States, in Australia, in Ireland, in Jamaica, in the Philippines, amongst others. And that, we feel, is one of the things that makes adventure writing what it is, even though it means sometimes meeting in person is impossible. So to the 6 authors on this year's shortlist for the best published novel, I need to say thank you for the expertise, the good humour, and the great company that you've shared with us over this summer. There have been caffeine-fueled interviews that overcome time zones, including a midnight book club meeting live from Manila, vivid descriptions of a writer's mind as a saucepan of peas, bubbling with ideas to be picked from the surface. Jonathan, I'm looking at you because that was your mum. And of course, we also had an in-person book club with non-obligatory shots of redemption, wherever Jack is. So 4 of those 6 authors on the shortlist are here with us tonight, and we have a small token of appreciation. It's not actually that small. But Nisa, would you join me on stage? And we'd just like to start with a thank you to those 4. So Jack, Nadia, Costanza, Naseba, Would you all slowly make your way up here, please? Fabulous. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about their brilliant books. Come on up. And we have, here's Jack as well. Fabulous. So we've got these maps for the authors. So as they are accepting their, like I said, rather large token of thanks, I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about their brilliant books. So first up, we have Fundamentally by Naseba Yunus. You are first. So Fundamentally is a book that will surprise you, it will maybe shock you, and it will definitely make you laugh. And you may think it would be the women participating in the ISIS de-radicalization program that provide the shock factor, but actually, maybe it's those principled UN staff. Thank you so much, Naseba. Then we have Babylonia by Costanza Casati. So Babylonia will transport you to ancient Assyria with Semiramis, who is ambitious, and she will do whatever she needs to do to survive. In war, but also where political intrigue is concerned. And Costanza keeps us rooting for Semiramis to love happily, to feel safe, and to make a life that is far from her humble beginnings. Don't worry about it. Then we have Redemption by Jack Jordan. So Redemption is a wild ride. We follow Tobias and Evelyn through the dusty, wildfire-ravaged desert of Nevada. And Evelyn is desperate to avenge the death of her son. Tobias is desperate to stop Evelyn before she goes too far. And Redemption really is a cat and mouse chase, but there is more than one cat and more than one mouse. And then last on stage, but by no means least, we have Sycorax by Nydia Hetherington. So Sycorax is magic, it's myth, it's theatre. Sycorax is a heroine, and she is a woman who is misunderstood and exploited by those around her, but she still manages to find peace in her world. It's poetically written, and Nydia makes us want to savour every single word. And of course, I need to say a couple of words about Diana and Sam, who sadly couldn't be here with us tonight because Diana is in Jamaica and Sam is in the Philippines. But we are very, very happy to have their friends and family here tonight. So A House for Miss Pauline by Diana Macaulay is both haunting and profound, but it's also funny. Miss Pauline is on a mission to right past wrongs from her 99 years of life and to work out what family really means to her. By making friends with her island of Jamaica's young people, she wrangles with the internet, but she manages to do what she needs to do. And as a character, Miss Pauline absolutely sparkles. Then we also have Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yambao, which is utterly fantastical. Unknown enemies and a Japan-inspired otherworld with some of the best forms of travel I've ever heard of. You can ride on a rumor, you can take a song across an ocean and travel through the folds of origami paper. Sam's imagination truly knows no bounds. So these are books on the shortlist that they all make us think, they make us laugh, cry, and they get the heart pumping like we've just done a big workout. And it might sound a little grandiose, but these are books that show a great adventure can shape our worldview, and they can articulate something that maybe we've not yet been able to put into words. But more on them later. We need to turn our attention to the New Voices Award for the as-yet unpublished writers. So the New Voices Award is an editorial development program that we run for unpublished, unrepresented writers who have a fresh idea for a novel. And we seek stories here that are pushing the boundaries of what adventure can be. And we help these writers bring their ideas to life. So in short, it's an award where winning means more hard work. And the winners are selected by an independent panel, including representatives from the team at Bonnier Books. Sarah, I saw you earlier. Thank you so much for your and the team's support. And then they are guided over the next period by a fantastic editor. Thank you, Martin. I saw you earlier too. And then those 5 winning writers have 9 months of this one-to-one assistance to take their fledgling idea to a complete first draft. And to those of you in the room or those of you watching who've already completed this process and are about to fly the nest, well done. And tonight, I have to say, who are the lucky 5 who are about to embark on this incredibly hard journey? Niso, would you come and announce the winners?
Right, here we go. I'm very excited. So
they're all very exciting stories.
Wow, here we go. So the shortlisted winners for tonight, Sarah Ang, Whale Song, Oliver Tobias Bach, Land of Water, Bidisha Chakraborty, The Fold, Marcella Marks, Invisible Animals, Sam McManus, A Bear Wakes in Winter. So, congratulations.
We have 2 of the writers who could join us this evening to accept their awards in person. So Bidisha, I'm hoping you've made it. Would you please come on up? Oh, maybe we fell foul of the tube strikes. I thought we were there. Okay, we're going to go back to this point if she arrives in the next 10 minutes. Sam McManus, let's try. A Bear Wakes in Winter. Sam.
Congratulations.
Sam, would you like to say a few words? Tell us a little bit about what your manuscript's about.
Yeah, well, it is a work in progress, so it's kind of hard to
What
say
do you
what it's
plan
about.
it to be about?
But it's set in 1927 in the Norwegian mountains, and it's about a character called Jon Helvik, who's a veteran from the Great War, who's moved there to forget his experiences, and he wakes one morning to find his prize stallion mauled to death by a bear. And he travels into the mountains to hunt the bear with another of the villagers, and something happens during the hunt which sets him in great danger and sets him on a journey of exile.
I can tell you as well, that's not the whole manuscript, that's about the first 3 chapters, which is what we've read. So the adventure continues. Congratulations, Sam. Thank you so much. So sadly, Sarah, Oliver, and Marcella, and Bidisha couldn't be here with us today, but their works feature a group of young climbers determined to take on the towering granite cliffs of Baffin Island, a research team investigating whale strandings off the coast of New Zealand, and 4 women, including a social media influencer and the daughter of shipwreck survivors, whose lives are intertwined in the fictional land of Pindorama. When typing recently, I actually noticed that my predictive text tries to correct first book to firstborn. And in many ways, that feels appropriate. But I do promise, Sam, I'm aiming this at you, there will be more sleep. And we're really looking forward to working with you and all the other writers over the next year. So at Foundation HQ, we are endlessly inspired by the people who are out there living adventure on a daily basis. And earlier this year, we supported a world record attempt by ocean rower and endurance athlete Angus Collins on his Great British Odyssey. Now, we think a taste of adventure is important in all of our lives, and the reason Angus undertook his Odyssey is incredibly important. And he is here with us tonight to tell us a little bit more. So, Angus, come on up.
Wow, what a great evening already. My experience of adventure comes in kind of two forms, and the first is one that I talk about the most and I find easiest to talk about, and that's my kind of extreme competitiveness in the sport of ocean rowing. I've rowed across the Indian Ocean, I've rowed across the Atlantic Ocean twice, and the Pacific Ocean from California to Hawaii. I've won races on every crossing and broken numerous world records, and that's been extremely, extremely hard. They're achievements that I'm very proud of. But it kind of is in my blood. I was born in Guam. My parents were scuba diving instructors. My grandpa was a world champion sailor. My uncle was an America's Cup sailor. My sister has also rowed across oceans and broken world records. So I've kind of been taught from a young age, or maybe even been forced, to be courageous and resilient and pretty resourceful. As kids, it was pretty normal for us to just be dropped off by our parents for a day, sometimes a week, and we'd just build boats, build rafts, see what would float. Normally it wouldn't, and we'd just go exploring up the east coast of Essex, and we all kind of considered ourselves to be the next batch of swallows and Amazons. I can remember actually being in a kind of 3-meter clinker-built wooden boat, and we're flying with the wind and tide, and then the mast falling down. We all had a laugh. We then realized the only way home was to then row against the wind and tide, which took forever. But we were safe. But I haven't always been safe. I set off to row across the Indian Ocean, was my first attempt. A team of 4, we wanted to become the youngest team to row across the Indian Ocean and the fastest team. So that's rowing from Western Australia to Mauritius. And this was back in 2014, only a few months after the tragic Malaysian airline 370 crash. So picture this, we're in a boat pretty similar to this, got a cabin on each side, 4 people on the boat. Generally speaking, 2 people are rowing, 2 people are sleeping, and we row in 2-hour shifts. We're in a normal day's weather, kind of 20-foot swell, 15-mile-an-hour winds, pushing us along, pretty dreamy. I slide into the cabin after 2 hours of sleep, 2 hours of rowing, to get some sleep, get some freeze-dried food down me, and then I'm woken up about an hour in, and the weather has completely changed. The waves are smashing against the hull of the boat. The wind is whipping around, and you can see like it's frothing the white water. We had just entered one of the biggest storms that had hit the Indian Ocean, and we didn't have any forecast that told us that was going to happen. For 72 hours, we're now surfing down waves at 20 miles an hour, trying to keep the boat straight. Occasionally, we would get that wrong. We could capsize, and sometimes waves would come from 90 degrees, spinning us around. It was absolutely terrifying. The salt is then drying on your body, rubbing you, creating so many sores. Your fingers couldn't open because you're gripping the oars so hard, so you're having to pry your fingers open. We were barely actually rowing. We were just trying to stay alive and keep the boat straight. After that storm subsided, we were then told that there was a search and rescue vessel that went out to try and find the black box for airline 370. They had to turn around because of that storm. We didn't have that luxury, so we just had to push through it. That storm then meant we couldn't make Mauritius. So I had to ring up my girlfriend at the time, who was in Mauritius, and say, sorry, wrong island. We're actually going to go to the Seychelles, and added on another 20 days onto our crossing. So it took 71 days. But despite that, we did break both records. Earlier this summer, with the really kind support of NISO and the whole foundation, I attempted to become the first person to row solo around Great Britain unsupported. Most people hear that and think that's got to be easier than rowing across an ocean. And I can guarantee you it's a lot harder. Around the UK, we've got tides that are changing every 6 hours. We've got winds that are changing the whole time. We've got the busiest shipping lanes in the world. We've got Europe's biggest whirlpools. We've got headlands where there's shipwrecks everywhere. This challenge was going to be monumental. But it wasn't just about the adventure. Yes, I've been pretty resourceful, resilient, mentally robust when I'm out at sea. But in my day-to-day, I've really struggled. For years, I've battled with depression. I've hidden that from my friends and my family, and I did so for way too long, and it was nearly too late. I call this stage of my life actually my biggest adventure, where I was completely out of control. Eventually, I did find the strength to open up and be honest and to talk to my friends about my mental health. And that was my first step to my recovery. So I wanted to use my platform as an ultra-endurance athlete, as someone who appears resilient and determined, to show that depression can affect anyone from any walk of life, and show that recovery is possible, and that true endurance is found in that recovery. So for this row, I set out to try and raise £250,000 for a charity called James's Place, which gives suicidal men free and quick life-saving therapy. So early July this year, there's the boat that I set out from Portsmouth on. I actually started in a big headwind, which wasn't ideal. But really, the South Coast kind of went to plan. I was rowing 12 to 14 hours a day. When I had to rest, I'd come in an anchor, and that meant I got to see some of the most beautiful bays around Britain. I loved that part of it. I never left my boat. So in that boat, I had 60 days worth of freeze-dried food, high-calorie food, really low flavor. The solar panels, which you can just see on top of the cabin, they're powering my water maker and my navigation equipment. So the water maker's sucking up the salt water, desalinating, allowing me to stay on the boat for 60 days. The cabin is designed around me. So I'm 6 foot, the cabin is 6'2" long. The height of the cabin when I'm lying down is about here. So it's kind of a very fast carbon coffin that floats. Some of it was beautiful. And I can remember some of the nights when the moon's out, stars are out, and you can see the headland kind of glistening. Incredible. There are other nights where it was pitch black, and it was terrifying. I was visited by dolphins, and I rode through fields of jellyfish. I had a detour around sunken shipwrecks that weren't on charts. It really was an incredible adventure. And then I rounded Land's End, and this is when it all went wrong. For 2 weeks, I only managed to row 50 miles. We had really unseasonable weather this year, and I know it was great when you were on dry land, watching the cricket and playing tennis, but it meant for me out in the Irish Sea, all the winds were shooting down the Irish Sea. I also broke a foot plate, which is what you push off when you're rowing, which set me back a couple of days. And this meant that I was then in the cabin for a week. I had the option of either sitting on that carbon rowing seat or lying down in the cabin. They were my two options. I was never able to get off the boat. For the first time, I was forced to face failure on the water, and I'd never failed when I'd been on the water before. The long-term forecast showed that it was going to be impossible for me to head up the Irish Sea. I had to accept the truth that the expedition was over. Stepping off that boat was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I wasn't really ready to totally give up. So with a mate, we got the boat out of the water, we put it on a trailer, and we drove the boat up to Scotland, up to Oban. I wanted to continue to tell my story about mental health and to reach out to people who are struggling and to prove that even in the hardest days, you can do more and you can ask for help and you can communicate with people. So I took the boat up to Scotland. After 24 hours of rest, which was an amazing rest, We then put the boat in the water, and I set off from Oban. 48 hours later, I got the newest forecast, and Storm Floris came in. And I knew that that meant that I'd have another week sitting on that boat, not moving. And it was then that I realized that whatever it was that I was looking for and what I was trying to achieve, I was not going to do that on that boat. What I was looking for and what was going to help me was back at home with my friends and my family and my support. The hard part was finding the strength to actually admit that all of this was beyond my control. And asking for help wasn't actually a weakness, it was a strength, and it was time to go home. So I didn't complete the row, the first time I'd failed in anything in ocean rowing. In that sense, the Great British Odyssey was a failure. But I really believe that my openness about my mental health, my struggles, and me reaching out for help made the Odyssey a complete success. So one thing I did realize when I was out on that boat and I had many, many hours on my own thinking was that I don't need to go on epic expeditions to love the outdoors. I don't need to break records to be proud of myself. All I need is good company and to be outside. So I've now set up a men's walk and talk group. This kind of gives me the opportunity to get people from all walks of life to sit down, walk, talk, chat, be honest, listen without any judgment. We don't always find answers, but we do create a space where you can ask those questions. And there's no better place than doing that than the outdoors. That's where your soul can really, really thrive. So at the beginning of the speech, I mentioned I've got two forms of adventure in my life. The first is that competitive side that wants to push and break records and prove that I can do more. This is the second part of adventure that really, really makes a difference. The form that benefits me the most, and that form is accessible to absolutely everyone. I might be kind of preaching to the wrong group here, but I urge you all to find your form of adventure, or if you have found that form of adventure, to continue. That could just be walking your dog around a park. It could be something extremely strenuous. It could be traveling the world or doing something at your back door. But it's really important that we do take our headphones out, we put our phones away, and even put our books away at times, and search for that adventurous spirit and share that with other people. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Angus. I will say, if you're putting your books away to go and have this adventure, please make sure you then write about the adventure that you went and had. Angus is actually allowing us to treat him like a real adventure hero that he is, and we're going to be creating a literacy resource for teachers that bring his odyssey, his real-life odyssey, into the classroom. And even though that is focused on improving literacy, it's also going to be supporting 11-year-olds here in the UK as they make that transition to secondary school. And speaking of young people, this is a nice segue into our Author of Tomorrow award. This is the part of the prize that invites young writers from across the world to try their hand at a short adventure story. We partner with the global literacy charity World Reader to publish a shortlist of 10 of these stories in an anthology, and we make them available to readers across the globe. So this year we received 747 entries, and that's from over 20 countries, which means that our team of reviewers read a whopping 905,770 words between them. But once the reviewers have helped us reach a shortlist, the 10 stories then go to our panel of young judges. So cue Atlas, Wayland Eden. Atlas is last year's winner of the Author of Tomorrow award, and he was one of these young judges this year. And Atlas is just going to tell us a little bit about his experience before we get on to the winners of this year's award. Come on up, Atlas.
Testing. Okay, here we go. This time last year, I was standing with my fellow shortlisted writers, waiting with bated breath to see which of us would be called up on stage to receive the Author of Tomorrow award. And as it turned out, I was in for a big surprise. The novelty still hasn't worn off. Not least because, up to that point, I hadn't written a single successful adventure story. My first attempt was about a ninja disguised as a nun, with some stiff dialogue and shaky pacing. But sure enough, I sent it into the award and waited. It didn't make the shortlist. The next year, I tried again, but the word limit got smaller, and my news story got longer, and refused to be shortened. They do that sometimes. Then, when all hope had faded, I remembered something I'd already written. But this one wasn't meant to be an adventure. It was just some historical fiction fun about a whaling voyage gone wrong, with starvation and shape-shifting and sea madness, and some murder for good measure. But then I stopped and pondered. Maybe this is an adventure. So I sent it in, and to my utter delight, it won. Yet even after receiving this amazing award, I couldn't help but wonder, what makes something an adventure? Where's the line between an adventure story and a story? Etymologically, the word adventure means to arrive. So you have to be taken somewhere. You must, in some way, be moved. When the time came to help judge this year's shortlist, I was surprised by what I found. I read stories that not only traveled a distance in space, but a distance in imagination. Ones that were huge and ones that were intimate, and many that were both. And as I went through the entries and untangled my thoughts, I learned, in retrospect, what I think makes an adventure. I learned that an adventure can happen over the course of a day or over a lifetime. It can leap through dimensions or take one step. It's less about how far you go, but where you find yourself at the end. And in each story, there was the seed of something personal, something close. For every childhood is a quest, every life is a voyage, and I think adventure stories serve to remind us of that each day we disembark and do not know where we will arrive. So I would like to thank this year's writers for teaching me about the art of adventure. And most of all, for entering the award and inviting us on your journeys. To misquote a certain famous hobbit, it's a dangerous business, starting a story. You write the first line, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think Atlas can put that into words better than I can. So let's find out who will be stepping into Atlas's shoes this year. Niso, would you come and reveal the winners of the Author of Tomorrow?
Here we go. Getting exciting and exciting. All right. So, yeah. So our young writers shortlisted this year are literally speaking from around the world. So starting from UK, Japan, Australia, and North America. So here we go. The winner of this category, under 11 years of age, is Mei Lau. So wait, take a deep dive. She's shy. Mei Lau. So the story called Deep Dive. So
Thank you very much. Come on up, May. There's steps around the other side if you want them.
it's actually about deep diving in deep scuba diving. So that age. Congratulations. No, don't go. You stay for
Would you
tonight.
like to tell us a little bit about what the story's about?
So there's this very keen adventurer who goes to the Bermuda Triangle hoping to find something down there, and then they find a lot more adventure than they think.
Ooh, everyone's going to have to read it. Congratulations, May. Would you go and get a photo with Adam? So for Charville and Eleanor, who aren't here with us tonight, we do have book tokens and we have a certificate for both of you. I know you're watching along. And of course, your stories have also been published as part of the anthology Myths, Mysteries and Mavericks that we publish with World Reader. So now we're on to the 12 to 15 category. Liso.
Right, here we go. More excitement coming. So the winner of this category is Amina Datu. The newfound voice. Congratulations, Amina. Congratulations. So,
Amina, what's the newfound voice about?
So there's a girl called Sarah who loves reading, but she lives in a world where books are banned. And although she knows that, she still continues reading until someone catches her and she doesn't know what to do.
oh,
Again, everyone's got to read it. I also need to say congratulations to Hanako and to Tumi, whose fantastic stories were also shortlisted for this category and are part of the anthology. And there will be a little bit more for both of you coming soon. But first, we have to get to the 16 to 21 category. Liso.
thank you. So here we go. The winner is Abby England, The Dividing Lane.
Thanks, Abby.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Here we go. So here we go. You can
The
hold it yourself.
Dividing Line is historical fiction. Did you have to do a lot of research, Abby?
Oh, well, it is, yes. My research mainly consisted of walking into Dome Cathedral, where it is set, and seeing this line on the floor, which is the line that women and girls could not cross prior to the 1600s, and realising that if I had lived in that time, it would have been a lot more adventurous for me to walk across it than it is now with all the tourists crossing. So, yes, thank you.
Congratulations. Right, yes. Many of you know already it's very, very difficult when these stories come into our, when we're reading this story, they're very short. But sometimes between the winner and they come so close, and so for many years, Wilbur and I established our own prize, which doesn't come from the charities account. So, and our private recommendation of this next winner is Salt in Her Lungs by Madeline Arcada. It was really, 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 really good. So anyway, this has to be a big novel.
So Madeline, your story is about the sea.
Yes.
Do you spend a lot of time in the ocean, or near the ocean?
I do. Every summer we go to the shore of Connecticut and spend some time there. And I actually wrote most of the story while thinking about it, staring at a picture on the wall of our house. So it was really great to be able to set my story in that town.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Lovely. So that's a huge well done to Madeline, to Abby, to Amina and to May. But we also need to say congratulations to Isabel, to Eliana, Hanako, Tumi, Eleanor and Charville. And we do have something little for each of you. If you are watching along online, it will be winging its way to you. But Isabel, Hanako, and Toomey, would you please come on up? That's Isabel.
Isabel?
Congratulations, Isabel. Hanako, so these are for you. And Toomey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Please sit this way.
Here we go. Oh, yes, before you, yes, right. You must, okay, I can, No, okay, right, okay. No, okay, you take a picture and hold it after. No, you take a picture and hold it later.
Come on, here we go.
I don't want you to get despondent because you didn't win the prize, right? But you must remember there were 747 stories, right? And you made the shortlist. This is already an enormous achievement. So please continue writing, and we'll see you next year, right?
Perfect. So becoming a writer really can happen at any point in your life. And for these young writers here tonight, I think you've all already got a head start. So don't be shy tonight. Come and speak to any of the other writers in the room and find out when they started writing. This year's anthology, featuring all 10 of these stories, is now available in World Reader's Booksmart library or app. And you can scan the QR code there to visit. And we do have some little postcards that you can take away with you as well. So before I turn our attention back to the final award of the night, as we predicted, our wonderful winner of the New Voices Award, Vidisha Chakraborty, has finally made it, which I'm guessing you fell foul of the tube strikes. But please, Vidisha, would you come on up and accept your award? Thank you. Here she is, right here. Welcome.
Thank you. It was literally easier to get from Chile to London than it was to get from Houston to here. So this was an adventure in itself.
Congratulations. So
Thank
absolutely,
you.
congratulations. I am not allowed to read unpublished works, but I'm looking forward to read it when it's published.
You've got to finish it first.
Yes, you've got all the help to finish it. You have all the help within our foundation to finish
Absolutely.
it.
Could you tell us a little bit about your plans for it?
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So the book is about a Londoner, newly married, pregnant, who goes to southern Chile and joins a book club that looks seemingly lovely until she realizes that it's rather difficult to leave the town. Some of the participants may or may not be alive. And even I'm yet to find out exactly how it ends.
Well, I'm really pleased that we're going to be a part of that journey with you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Vidisha.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Great. I don't know if we've ever worked with an adventure story that is also a ghost story, but we're very much looking forward to it. So now it is time to turn our attention back to the final award of the night, the £10,000 Wilbur Smith Adventure Writing Prize. So every year we work with an outstanding team of librarians and library staff to select the listed titles. And we knew from that point that this would be such a strong shortlist. When a librarian attending the roundtable selection day has their frontrunner and they tell you, I am prepared to fight for this one, you stand back and you let them fight. But then we work to get these books into as many hands as possible. So this year we sent display packs to over 100 libraries across the UK, bringing adventure into these vital spaces. We had 12 book clubs from Glasgow to Cornwall via the Midlands and East Anglia, who became the best advocates for these authors. The next best thing after reading a book really is talking about it. and they got to talk about it in their own private book club with the author. Sets of the shortlist were also sent to book banks, a wonderful charity working in food banks in London, Manchester and Norfolk, helping make sure that everyone has access to books. And of course, they went to our judging panel, all experts in either the literary or adventure fields. And like Angus, there's courage, there's endurance and resilience in these people, plus a curiosity about the world, and of course, the love of a damn good story. So we have a short video from the judges.
Given the popularity of adventure writing, I'm delighted that there's an award that recognises it so that we can celebrate the best work in the field.
Whilst we're applauding great writing, I think with an adventure prize, you're also celebrating great storytelling, and that's really important.
Adventure writing to me means being taken somewhere. Being taken somewhere that allows me to forget my own life.
For me, adventure writing is all about the journey. It's all about taking you on an emotional, a physical, or a mental journey that enables you to grow.
To me, adventure writing is about stories in which the stakes are really high. And that can be physical stakes, but very much can also mean emotional stakes.
As a whole, the diversity of the group really worked for me, and I thought that the choice was really clever because it gave a really wide range in the genre. Seeing these new stories and these new characters and getting to meet them and learning about them was really enjoyable.
Collectively, they all have one long strand that runs through it, and that's that spirit of adventure. And it's allowed me to learn, to broaden, and to discover new lands, experiences, and emotions.
They were all so different and gave me such interesting experiences. There wasn't one I didn't enjoy.
Miss Pauline, I mean, what an absolute legend. I don't think I've ever met a character like her before in a book, and she will stay with me forever.
Miss Pauline's extraordinary life and the pressing issues of race and complicity and reckoning are truly as urgent and compelling as any shootout or battle scene.
Redemption by Jack Jordan. I had read and enjoyed before as a thriller, but it was fascinating to revisit as an adventure.
Babylonia took me on a journey, a far distant land in a far distant time that I just wish I could have been part of.
Watermoon drew me into a fantastical world with twists and turns you couldn't foresee.
Fundamentally did exactly what it said on the cover. It changed my fundamental beliefs about a very serious subject, and something that the newspapers have a cover for, but actually it took me beneath that story and really enlightened me.
Sycorax not only gave me a great backstory to a Tempest character, I actually went back and read The Tempest, which was just brilliant. I haven't done that since school, I don't think.
Our discussions were genuinely very heartfelt and passionate. Even when we had a different take on things, the passion of the discussions that we had indicated the very strong impact that these books had had on us as readers.
I've been really touched and honoured to be part of this process.
It's been fantastic, a wonderful experience to go on such an exciting adventure with each and every book, to feel the risk and the excitement, but without the perils of the threat. Was truly something that I've really enjoyed over the last few months.
My very warmest congratulations to all of the shortlisted authors and to our worthy winner.
That's a cliffhanger. So a huge thank you to Corinne, to Nathan, to Kami and to Francesca for judging this year's prize for us. They are 6 very different adventure novels, but it's time to reveal the winner. Niso, would you come back?
Georgina came yesterday, and so we went through the script, and I said to her, look, you know, will you tell me the winner? She said, you have to wait until tomorrow to find out. So here I am with you, and she has been really very secretive about it. Wow. So the winner of this year, £10,000 of the foundational prize is Costanza Casati, Babylonia. what to take with me to read when I'm traveling. Congratulations.
Costanza, congratulations.
Thank you. Okay.
Would you like to? Do you want me to hold the trophy
No,
for
it's
you?
okay.
Hold that tight.
I'm so overwhelmed. Thank you so much. Okay, I want to start by thanking the foundation for the gift that was this shortlist, for sharing the love for adventure, but also for bridging the gap between this prize and readers, for which I'm really, really grateful. I need to thank the judges for your passion and enthusiasm, the librarians who, you know which librarian I'm talking about.
I do.
For putting our books into the hands of so many amazing readers, the readers who voted for Babylonia. I need to thank my team, especially my agent and my editor, my friend Anna, who's with me tonight, and also the other shortlisted authors, because it was really an honor to be on this list with you. And thank you to Georgina and Charlotte. It was a joy to work with you. I grew up reading adventure novels, especially thanks to my dad, who might be watching this from somewhere in Italy with my mom. But I also grew up dreaming about stories where women's lives could be as exciting, as epic, as adventurous as the lives of the men. And it is because of those dreams that this means so much. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. You should have one with her as well. So that is an absolutely epic proportions. Congratulations to Costanza. If you haven't read Babylonia, please, please do. This is just the first year of life for all of these books on the shortlist, and the readers will be picking them up for many, many years to come. The shortlist is available to buy tonight. If there are any in particular that you would like to get your hands on a copy of, they are all absolutely jam-packed with adventure. So do take a look at the table that I keep looking at myself. If you ask the authors nicely, they may also sign them for you. So finally, I will do another round of thank yous to the judges, the young judges, the librarians and library staff, our volunteer reviewers, our trustees, our partners, all of those who work with us, including the reading agency, Bonnier Books and World Reader. And thank you, of course, to Niso Smith for the continued support of this cause and, of course, getting us all together tonight. We like to say that a great adventure is better with friends by your side. So please stay, have some drinks, have some canapes, get to know each other. Foyles do close at 9 p.m, so we have until then. But thank you all so much for joining us.